Have you ever found yourself lost in a daydream, imagining a scenario so vivid it almost feels real? These mental stories often pop up during quiet moments, like when you're showering or riding the bus. It's as if your mind becomes a theater, starring stick figures acting out all sorts of adventures. Sometimes, these imagined situations are so immersive, you might even forget where you are for a moment. It's a quirky and universal part of being human, and our StickMan friends are experts at it. After venturing through these imagined scenarios, our stickman finds himself back in reality, feeling a curious blend of relief and disappointment. On one hand, he's glad to escape the wild twists and turns of his daydreams. No need to dodge flying pies or balance on tightropes. Yet there's a hint of sadness as the excitement fades, replaced by the familiar beige background of everyday life. This mix of emotions is perfectly normal, as our stickman learns that even simple adventures can leave a lasting impression. Sometimes, returning to reality means appreciating both the calm and the chaos of our imagination. Let's take a closer look at the difference between casual daydreaming and building elaborate, emotionally charged mental realities. Daydreaming is like letting your mind wander, imagining simple scenarios or funny possibilities, often fleeting and lighthearted. In contrast, constructing detailed mental realities involves creating vivid stories in your head, complete with strong emotions and complex plots. These imagined worlds can feel almost real, sometimes even influencing how you feel or act. So, while both involve imagination, one is a gentle breeze and the other is a full-blown adventure inside your mind. Stickman stories often revolve around some classic themes. You'll see our stick figures bravely confronting tricky situations, dreaming up wild success stories, or even finding themselves in the middle of a cartoon romance. Sometimes, they're preparing for disasters, like dodging falling pianos or escaping imaginary floods. These scenarios let our expressive stickmen show off their dramatic reactions, all with a few simple lines and a round head. Sometimes, our brains come up with curious scenarios that seem to pop up out of nowhere. But these aren't just random thoughts. They're actually our mind's clever way of working through problems we can't tackle directly in real life. Imagine a stickman puzzling over a tricky situation, scratching his round head and thinking hard. It's all about finding creative solutions, even if the answers aren't obvious. So next time you catch yourself daydreaming, remember, your brain is just doing its best to help you out. It's perfectly normal to imagine fake scenarios, and you're definitely not alone. Even our stickman friends sometimes daydream about winning races or inventing wild adventures. Creating these stories in your mind isn't a sign of weakness or escapism. It's simply how our brains explore possibilities and practice emotions. Everyone does it, whether they admit it or not, and it can even help us solve problems or prepare for real-life situations. So, next time your imagination runs wild, remember it's just another part of being human. Or stickman. Our brains are natural storytellers, constantly inventing scenarios to help us navigate the world. Mental simulation is like a rehearsal, where we imagine different outcomes and practice our responses, all without leaving our beige backgrounds. This clever trick evolved to help us test ideas, prepare for challenges, and feel a bit more in control, even when life throws unexpected arrows our way. It's as if our stickman selves are drawing up plans, making faces, and waving their arms to get ready for whatever comes next. So, next time you catch yourself daydreaming, remember, it's your brain's way of keeping you sharp and ready. Meet the Default Mode Network, a special team inside your brain that's always busy behind the scenes. This network is responsible for creating those vivid mental simulations, like daydreams or imagining future events. Even when you're just sitting quietly, the Default Mode Network is hard at work, connecting thoughts and weaving together ideas. It's like the stickman's backstage crew, making sure the show in your mind runs smoothly. Thanks to this clever system, our brains can build rich inner worlds with surprising ease. Have you ever wondered what would happen if you made a different choice? That's counterfactual thinking in action. Your brain likes to imagine alternate versions of reality, replaying events and tweaking the details to see how things might turn out differently. This mental habit helps us learn from past experiences and prepare for future ones, almost like a stickman rehearsing his next big leap. By exploring these what-ifs, we become better at making decisions and handling surprises. Imagine your brain as a clever prediction machine, always running simulations to prepare you for what's next. Just like a flight simulator helps pilots practice before taking off, mental rehearsals allow us to anticipate outcomes and sharpen our responses. By picturing ourselves succeeding in tricky situations, we build confidence and reduce surprises. It's as if our StickMan character is practicing a dance move or rehearsing a big speech, all in the safety of their imagination. This playful approach helps us feel ready for whatever life throws our way. Sometimes, our StickMan minds get caught up in endless mental rehearsals, imagining every possible outcome before making a move. While this can help us prepare, it can also turn into a trap, keeping us stuck in loops of worry or replaying old hurts. Instead of stepping forward, we might find ourselves frozen, arms crossed, waiting for the perfect scenario that never arrives. It's a bit like drawing the same StickMan over and over, hoping one will finally spring into action. Recognizing when these simulations hold us back is the first step to breaking free and letting our StickMan take a leap into real life. Imagine our StickMan hero facing a world where things often feel out of control. In real life, many people experience moments when their choices seem limited or their voices go unheard. Creating fake scenarios gives them a chance to take charge, even if it's just in their imagination. It's like drawing a StickMan who finally gets to steer the ship, making decisions and seeing them play out. This sense of agency can be comforting, offering validation and a little boost of confidence when reality feels overwhelming. Spending too much time in imagined scenarios can have surprising effects. When our StickMan gets lost in daydreams, the boundary between fantasy and reality starts to fade. This can lead to real emotions being influenced by things that never actually happened. Sometimes, it even affects how we relate to others, making conversations or feelings more complicated than they need to be. It's a gentle reminder that while imagination is fun, it's important to keep one foot firmly planted in the real world. Reality can sometimes feel a bit less cozy than the scenarios we dream up in our heads. In our imagination, everything follows our rules. StickMen leap over obstacles with ease and nothing ever goes wrong. But real life is full of surprises and messy moments, where things don't always go as planned. Unlike our neat and tidy StickMan drawings, the world is unpredictable, and that can make us feel uneasy. Still, it's this unpredictability that makes life interesting, even if it's not always as comfortable as our imagined adventures. Sometimes, our imaginations can run wild, making it tricky to sort out what's real and what's just a thought. One helpful strategy is to externalize these scenarios by writing them down. When you put your ideas on paper, your brain gets a chance to process them, almost like letting a StickMan walk out of your head and onto the page. This simple act can make worries feel less overwhelming and help you move forward. Plus, you might even discover that your StickMan has some clever solutions hiding in those scribbled lines. Sometimes, our StickMan brains love to imagine all sorts of scenarios. But there's a big difference between preparing for life's surprises and simply trying to protect ourselves from them. Preparation means our StickMan is practicing, learning, and getting ready to face challenges. Protection, on the other hand, can leave our StickMan frozen, stuck in endless worry loops, hoping to avoid any bumps in the road. The trick is to notice whether your mental rehearsals are helping you move forward or just keeping you in place, like a StickMan hiding behind a tiny shield. Setting boundaries is important, especially when it comes to scenario building. By using time limits, we can keep our StickMan characters from wandering too far into imaginary worlds. A simple timer helps remind everyone to return to the present moment, making sure no one gets stuck in endless daydreams. This approach keeps things balanced and allows for both creativity and focus. Even our StickMan knows when it's time to pause and come back to reality. Sometimes, our minds wander off into imaginary worlds, leaving us feeling a bit lost. Grounding techniques are like a friendly nudge from a StickMan, reminding us to come back to the present moment. You can try wiggling your fingers, tapping your feet, or noticing the feeling of your chair beneath you. Even taking a deep breath and observing the sounds around you can help activate your senses. These simple actions help you reconnect with reality, making it easier to stay focused and calm. Imagine your mind as a flowing river, with thoughts and scenarios drifting along like the current. Sometimes, the water rushes fast and unpredictable, carrying all sorts of ideas with it. While you can't control what floats by, you do have the power to stay anchored and not get swept away. Our stickman hero might cling to a sturdy rock, smiling as the river rushes past, showing us that it's okay to let thoughts flow without being carried off by them. It's a simple way to remember that we can observe our thoughts without getting tangled up in them. Imagination is a powerful tool for exploring ideas and preparing for new situations. Our stickman friends show us how thinking creatively can help us understand the world around us, even if their adventures are drawn with simple lines and expressive faces. But remember, real life is full of surprises and a bit of messiness. No amount of planning can capture every twist and turn. So, embrace your imagination. But don't forget that true experience comes from stepping out and living it, stick arms and all.